Global TV subscribe.
Ex-CNN mainstream journalist, now YouTuber for lack of a better words, started as an ICE protest, but it ended up with Nicki Minaj, Donald Trump, and D.L. Hughley going in. Nicki Minaj didn't agree, calling out for him to be locked up even though she got her own political battles going on. The DOJ is threatening to charge Don Lemon. Donald Trump wants him to be arrested, and D.L. Hughley gave a piece of his mind right to his face. We're going to get to all the details in this debacle with Don Lemon and the church protests, as they want to call it. Let's get to it. Globes in the chat. Breaking. President Trump just posted that Don Lemon and the leftist rioters should get years in prison for storming the Minneapolis church. A small group of elderly ladies were protesting at an abortion clinic and were given 40 years in prison for violating the FACE Act. I would like to see the same kind of sentence for Don Lemon and the people that broke into that church during those services. Donald Trump, your presidente. Nicki Minaj, prayer hands, American flag. God bless America. Don Cluck-sucking Lemon is disgusting. How dare you? I want that thug in jail. He would never do that to any other religion. Lock him up with the Chucky doll. Straight from Nicki Minaj's X page. It seems like Don Lemon has caused some civil unrest at the moment. Let's get to this battle. If you don't know, I'm going to give you all the details of the egregious things that took place right after his response to Nicki Minaj.
Her response to all of this and the language that she used. I think it's interesting just because Nicki has been, over the last couple of months, made it clear that she is now publicly supporting, and I think maybe she has all along, but now publicly making known her support for the Trump administration and even the MAGA movement. The choice of words that she used to go after you, I'm not surprised she went after you.
It's homophobic. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think you have to black it out. You should show it to people. She called me Don, C sucker Lemon is disgusting. Look, this is what I'll say to Nicki Minaj. I normally don't respond to things like this, but, F it. I'm going to do it this time. I think Nicki Minaj has made it very clear how she feels about African Americans in this country. I don't think she's one of them, obviously. And she should, under Trump's rules, she should be deported because I don't think, reportedly, that she is a legal citizen here. She is undocumented. And so she has shown her disdain for African Americans. So why are you supporting her? Why are you buying her records? She's also supporting, I have lots of gay friends who love Nicki Minaj. Why are you supporting this homophobic, bigoted, ignorant woman? You should not be supporting her. Nicki Minaj, this is clearly out of her depth. She doesn't understand politics. She doesn't understand journalism. And I'm not surprised that she is weighing in on something that is beyond her capacity. What I will say to her is, because she put a doll, I think she put the Chucky doll in there, a better symbol that should have been represented in that picture is a pick-me doll, because Nicki Minaj is a pick-me. She will do anything that is expedient for her politically. And again, she's ignorant. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's always weighing in on things that she doesn't know about. Nicki Minaj should just sit the fuck down. And by the way, isn't she married to an alleged pedophile? And she has the nerve to say something disparaging about and something homophobic. I'm pretty sure that maybe that's part of the reason that she is cozying up to the Trump administration for some sort of leniency for her family members. And it's just very transparent. So Nicki Minaj, F off, stop being a homophobic bigot, and get a life and some brains.
The majority of Nicki Minaj fans are definitely of the alphabet community. That's why it was confusing when she sat down with Erica Kirk with their ideology and their conservative views that are very strict on that, as well as Trump. But beyond that, Don Lemon, Nicki Minaj, not a citizen, didn't know that, and she holds the key to speak for the black race. Any time that she pleases, she actually earned that. I don't know how your boot-licking self, and I said boot-licking because you're a boot-licker, Don Lemon the boot-licker, has any say-so in this at all. You have none, my boy. But let's get to the egregious things he did, then get this conversation with D.L. Hughley. Let me know y'all opinions and thoughts on this.
Okay. Yeah. What did they say?
More information first.
Yeah.
But you said talking is the answer, right?
Yeah.
Well, then maybe instead of making assumptions, it'd be good to ask the person first before making that assumption, then going into their church.
I don't know if they tried to talk to anyone. Would you be okay with your pastor talking to them?
I think conversations will be great. I think we need more communication. I don't necessarily agree with what's going on with ICE raids and stuff, but I also don't think fire with fire is the answer.
I appreciate you giving me your opinion. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So,
Let me note to you guys, they went into this church to protest under the pretense that the pastor was the director at an ICE location, which is false. So they falsely went and accused this man of having an occupation he doesn't have. And even if he did, it gives you no justification to go inside of his place of worship.
why don't you try to talk to the folks? And he said that, this was a disruption and,
Yeah, because they didn't read the Bible where Jesus came into his father's house and flipped over tables because they were pretending to worship the Lord. They were pretending to follow the word, but their actions were not in alignment. So we came and flipped over a table today. This injustice, this unrighteousness will not stand. You cannot be a pastor while also being the director of the field office for ICE in St. Paul.
Now that everybody has seen why everybody is such in an uproar, from our president Donald Trump to the queen of hip hop Nicki Minaj, let's get to Don Lemon's opinion on this and his conversation with D.O.U. and why he felt it was okay to do what he did. Do I agree with illegal immigration? No. They're taking away a lot of funds, a lot of needed funds, as well as a lot of resources that should be allocated to people in need, everybody in need, housing and everything in between.
About that somebody associated with the church in St. Paul was the acting director of ICE, and Black Lives Matter staged the protest that you happened to cover. But what's more interesting is Black Lives Matter was protecting and fighting for the rights of Renee Good, a white woman, while All Lives Matter were paying money to her murderer. And so it's just we find ourselves, and it is Dr. King's birthday, and we're honoring it. But we got to remember, Dr. King gave a speech. One of his famous speeches was a eulogy for 4 Black girls that were killed in the Birmingham church bombing.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can't use church. They're angry at you using church for a speech, but Black churches have been bombed. In 1996, there were 200 Black churches that were burned. 12 years ago, Dylan Roof slaughtered 9 people at a church. So you can burn churches, you can shoot churches, you can bomb churches, but don't protest the churches. It's the craziest thing.
Wait, talk more about that. But don't protest the churches. I mean, they weren't so mad when you protested and bombed the Black churches. So what are you saying explicitly, specifically?
I think Jesus protested in his temple. He protested in the church. He didn't like the greed and corruption we saw. There are 2 times in the gospel Jesus protested twice. So if he can do it, you can too.
Yeah.
I think it's ironic that the very people who
let me just clear you real quick. I wasn't protesting. I was just reporting. I wasn't there.
Of course you weren't. Of course you weren't.
People for the activists, and they're saying that with me, but again, I'm not an activist. I'm not one of the protesters. And then what is it called? The KKK Act, right, DL, that they're saying?
Sure.
The Ku Klux Klan Act. Can you tell us about that? Are you familiar with that?
No, I can only say this. This is ironic.
I was asking the Attorney General if he's familiar.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the FACE Act. In Minnesota, we uphold the right of a woman to choose, and some of the activists, will you know, sort of so we're invoked. It has to, the law has to do with whether or not people's freedom to protest, in generally regarding reproductive clinics and things like that.
You're saying, Don, you were chanting. I never chanted at all. Someone said, Don, you were chanting. Never chanted. That's not what I was doing at all.
Well, if you're chanting, Don, let me just tell you, when we're not chanting cannot be a crime. It's freedom.
Both sides.
Oh, wow.
I have fought and advocated for the right of everybody to say anything they want to. I'm a proponent of the First Amendment. It is clear that this administration and MAGA in general despises protesters way more than they despise pedophiles.
Wow.
When somebody says stand back and stand by, when they say racist things, their speech is protected, and I advocate for that. How is that America first? How is it that you will protect the rights of people thousands of miles? You're willing to use our national treasure and our military might.
I don't know who we is that has Don Lemon. I definitely don't. I don't stand with the bootlicker licking at all, especially from the Don of the Lemon. Controlled op, not even an op of our situation. So let's ignore him. He wants a Nick Shirley moment. He's chasing a viral situation. He went from critically acclaimed journalist to a mediocre YouTuber. With that being said, make sure you tap in to me live at Intellectual Street Thoughts, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Cast Global TV. And I am your humble host, Cash, $ for that.
Cash Global TV subscribe.